Hey everybody, it's Party Elite. Welcome back to another episode of our Planet Zoo franchise mode Let's Play. We're gonna head right back into Elite Zoo South. There is, as always, a lot to accomplish today, and I am really looking forward to completing our brand new painted dog enclosure. Really interesting learning to be had in the comments of the previous episode. Actually, there were, I wish I could pin multiple comments. There were so many very in-depth, informative comments with regards to, well, a vast variety of things. Let me leave it at that. So, if you have some free time and you're, looking for something to do, maybe check out the comment section of the previous episode. I had a hard time picking which one to pin. I mean, apart from the initial pinned comment that I had to unpin to replace. But one of the many things that I learned from the comment section of last session was with regards to this push to rename the African wild dogs to the, I guess it's African painted dog. I can't recall if it is African painted dog or just painted dog. The idea being that, twofold. One, because their coats look as though they were painted, I suppose. Really, doesn't everything look like it's been painted? It just depends on how good the painter is, right? But not just that. It's more of a push to dissociate the negative connotations of the term wild from the animal, because wild typically feels like it's obviously got some potential positive implications, but typically wild has a negative vibe to it. It feels dangerous. It feels threatening. It feels potentially unlovable, I guess. Please note, I don't particularly agree with any of these sentiments, but some people do. Some people feel that way. And so to get rid of that stigma, I suppose, is the way to put it, there is this push to name them painted dogs instead. That way they're no longer wild. They sound a bit more friendly. You can get along with them. They're fun animals. They're not dangerous wild dogs. I guess wild dogs also come with some negative connotations as well, right? You get like rabies concerns and stray dogs. I mean, I guess there's a lot of that. I don't know, but it's not about my opinion, right? Obviously, it's about collective opinion. And if painted dogs means people take them to be friendlier animals that need conservation and preservation just as much as any other animal that's endangered or otherwise trouble of some sort or the other, then so be it. Interesting to note though, because I would expect, I guess the push hasn't garnered enough success or weight, because I would expect this game then to rename them the painted dog or the African painted dog. But I mean, you can only do so much. If they are officially, I guess, called the African wild dog, then that's what you got to stick with. Apparently, Lycaon Pictus, though, is, I guess, translates into painted dog or something along those lines. Now, Pictus, I'm not surprised. I was actually wondering about that, because when I see Pict, I think about the Picts, like the people, the Picts. And so I was wondering if there was like some association there, though, of course, one of the two is not in Africa. But I guess that is the association, that it is about being painted. Anyway, again, sorry, a little bit of a ramble, but I was quite intrigued by that comment. There were a couple of other interesting comments as well with regards to the etymology of latrines, for example. There's some good stuff in the comments. I do highly recommend checking them out. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on the painted dog thing, because I just want to reiterate, I do have a couple of name suggestions picked out. I would love to hear more name suggestions, and the reason why I've kind of prefaced this episode with that little lecture, if you will, that little ramble, little rant, is because apart from some of the more sort of culturally focused name suggestions I've received for the area, if you're still trying to think up some more names, then maybe that whole painted dog angle will bring some ideas to mind. Now again, I just want to be clear that it's not like, oh, if I get the first painted dog related name suggestion is the one that I'm going to go for. I'm still like open to all suggestions, but I thought I'd throw that out there in case some of y'all would like to try and sort of take a shot at naming this enclosure. But just as a reminder, it's not just this enclosure that'll need naming. We're going to continue our path over here. It might not be like underground, it might be an above ground path, but we still want to continue this path, and we'll need a name for this passage as well. Now, obviously, from one side it's got its name. Over from the Australian side, from the Dingo side, it is Wallacul Way. But what I want to do is on the other side, I want to give it a different name that associates with the painted dogs and with hopefully there's some like relationship angle we can take there as well. But if not, then I'll sort of take what I can get. Again, some of the suggestions I've received do work for this as well. But again, just throwing it out there. Today's going to be the beauty pass for this area, though, for this enclosure specifically. We're going to get the finishing touches. I shouldn't call it the beauty pass, actually. We're going to get some finishing touches in there. We have a little bit of finessing to do here and there. I want to kind of make these spaces look nicer as well. These animals need some more hard shelter as well. So quite a bit to do. I think we're going to be diving into the time lapse pretty much right away. I believe I'll also need to get in some education boards. Only have some education boards, but some donation bins, some trash cans, some education boards up over here. Yeah, a fair bit of work to do. Again, skipping an episode, like having my schedule shift a little bit, always throws things off a little bit, just as a mental check for myself. So I apologize for having to do a little double check there. I actually want to touch on another thing that was pointed out to me that I did not realize, but now that it's been pointed out, I'm really glad it worked out this way, so thank you. But we have over here our moon, our like symbol for the moon, and then all the way across the zoo, we have over here, as you'll recall, our symbol for the sun. And I do think that's pretty cool. I do think it's pretty cool that on one end we have the sun, on the other end we have the moon. It just kind of, you know what? That's pretty completely unintentional. I'm not going to pretend it was on purpose. I'm not going to pretend to take credit there and be like, oh yeah, I totally was thinking about that, and yeah, I wanted to see if any of you noticed. That's why I didn't mention it. None of that. No, completely unintentional. But now that it's been kind of noted, it's I'm so glad that it's happened, because it's just cool. It's a cool touch, and maybe it says a lot about me. It probably does say a lot about me. But folks, I think I've said enough about both myself and the painted dogs, and honestly the enclosure and everything else. I think I can stop talking now and dive into this time lapse. So with that final bit said, it's time lapse time. All right, folks, I am really excited for today's time lapse. Not because we do anything overly complex or, you know, out there, but we complete a couple of spaces, we fill out a couple of spaces, and this area of the zoo is really starting to come together quite nicely. So very pleased with the end results of this time lapse, and I hope you all are as well, because it does, I mean, geez, we've been looking at this barren space for how long now? And it's all finally coming together, so it's very exciting. Now, one thing that I think I'd mentioned a couple of sessions ago or so, maybe last session, but whether I mentioned it or not, it was actually brought up in the comments as well, that maybe I should change where we put down the stores on this side of the enclosures. Like, you know how with the dingo slash African wild dog, or painted dog, if you will, enclosure, we have it all on the right side, I'll call it for now. Previously, I had a space for more stores up over here on the right side as well, but instead it's been suggested, and I was thinking about it as well, maybe we should put it on the left side, because that way, like closer to the center of the zoo, where we're putting it right now, sorry, because that way, you know, folks coming in from either side or from either path will have access to, you know, food, drink, toilets. They won't have to like go cross to the other side of this like walkway path section. I hope I'm making sense. You know what I mean though, right? Like some of the food and drink is available on the left side, some of the food and drink is available on the right side. Depending on what you want to get, you can pick a side. Or if you don't care what you get, but you just want some food or drink or the washroom, then, you know, either side is fine. You don't have to pick your path based on your bodily needs, I guess, is the best way to put it. But yeah, so I wasn't planning on doing this initially. What I end up doing here, which is focusing on the stores over here. Initially, my focus was going to be entirely on the enclosure, but you know, I put down the wind turbine as opposed to the solar panel. It's been brought up pretty often that I tend to favor the solar panel rather than anything else. Main reason for that is that the solar panel has a relatively large negative impact radius, and I find that I would rather put down multiple solar panels than put down one wind turbine and try to figure out how to make it not be upsetting for the guests. But I thought, you know, why not? Let's take on the challenge over here and see if we can pull something off. But since I put the wind turbine down to power some of the TVs that we put down by the painted dog enclosure, I needed to cover it up. I needed to decorate the space, so I figured, well, why not? Let's just go all the way right now. So putting down a bunch of trees, putting down a bunch of stalls, occasionally checking the radius as well, you'll have noticed. And then I figure, okay, well, you know, why not? Let's just go all the way. Let's go ahead and put down the decorative elements for the stores and stuff as well. I didn't want to do something using the existing, or rather the available parts with the game. I mean, like the preset wall, floor, and you know, shop, like window parts. I wanted to try and build something. It's been a while since we've built shop covers of our own. At least I think so. It's been, I don't want to say as long as like the first 10 to 20 episodes, but it has been a long time since we've built entirely custom shop covers. So I thought we'd do that here, experiment a little bit, try something a little different from what we've been up to. And I also felt as though, you know, using a few more parts and whatnot will help the overall visual impact of the space, and it would help reduce the negative impact radius of the wind turbine. It all does, which is great. This pause, I'm not sure what this pause is for. I apologize that it lasted so long, but I must have been looking up some references or trying to figure out some, I think I was just trying to figure out what materials to use and how to go about building these side panels over here. Because again, it's kind of been a while since we've done it this way, and I was not entirely sure because, again, I haven't used all the Africa pieces all that often. Our time with the Africa sections of the zoo haven't been, you know, they've been few and far between, let's say. So I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to go about making this space, but ultimately these logs actually work out. I really quite like the coloration on them as well. They're like a nice deep brown. I quite like how they look, and so, you know, just build a little like encasing with all these logs, and we've got a little bit of color if you're looking at the front of the stores as well. Then we just kind of duplicate this across the various vendor stalls. Now I want to mention, actually, it's been pointed out to me that I don't use any of the signage that the game comes with, and it's quite beautiful signage. And I was asked, like, you know, is there a reason why I don't use it? Excellent question. I probably haven't addressed this in the past, even though I meant to. Now, previously at Elite Zoom North, especially, we did use some of the signage, and it is quite nice. Don't get me wrong; it is beautiful. However, the fact of the matter is that they are not the names of our stores, right? We go in and we give them custom names, so it'd be kind of weird to have like the name of a different store, even though it's the actual store. Like, you know, a Pip Shot Water is a Pip Shot Water, yes, but we're rebranding them and we're giving them their own names, right? So because the signage is, as a result, not congruent with what we're doing, that's why I don't use the signage. Now, I have been tempted in the past to pop open Blender, to make my own 3D models, to throw in signage. I'm going to tell you, I've thought about it multiple times. However, the mod tools that I found don't... they work-ish, is how I'm going to put it. They work-ish, and I'm just a little too concerned that I'm going to break something, and I don't want to break anything just for a couple of signs and then lose our work, you know. So just playing it safe over there. Not typically my style when it comes to modding. I used to do a lot of modding back in the day, but I don't know, for some reason, just something about it makes me a little on edge. Maybe because I'm so attached to what we've got going on, I would hate to lose it. But so that's you know, long story short, that's why I don't use those models, those signs for our stalls, for our stores. That aside, though, we are now finally working on the enclosure again. I decided to make a bit... You know, I realized I don't actually check if this hard shelter does the trick after the time lapse. I just kind of assumed that, yeah, it worked out. But I wanted to build a little hiding spot for the dogs over here if they wanted to tuck away. They needed some more hard shelter, you'll recall from last session. So I decided to build a little ramp so that guests will be able to walk up over here and then use that ramp to also make a cave for our friends to hide in. Beyond that, of course, making this a bit more secure, making sure that little children won't be providing free meals to our animals. So putting up a bit more of a barrier, and then deciding to go in and add some benches. I believe over here, yeah, over here, what I wanted to do, I realized I didn't put down picnic benches in a long time, picnic tables in a long time, so I decided to go ahead and put a couple of those down. And I wanted to get the toilet over here as well because I kind of forgot about it, I'll be completely honest, but fortunately I remembered. But yeah, I'm gonna add a couple more rocks here and there. Overall, this time lapse does end up focusing a bit more on the the area around and outside the enclosure, to be completely honest. But as I said, a couple sessions ago, I feel like with spaces that are a bit more open or barren, I feel like that really does do the trick, so to speak. Blocking this area off as well. Again, I'm trying to avoid, as much as we could save some money with a couple of free meals being offered by a couple families, I think I'd rather, not have that reputation for our zoo. So just blocking off these potential access points. But yeah, again, as I was saying, just working on the space around it will really help bring the space to life. And I think working on the vendor stall area, you can see it off in the distance there, really helped this space a lot. I do a little bit of work over here as well. I think what I'll do is I'll come through with another time lapse to like finish off some of these things. In all honesty, I was feeling a little like done with the rocks, I guess. Not that like I don't like how they look, but I was just like, I gotta come up with something. I gotta try and figure something out. I think that's part of the reason why I spent so much time away from inside the enclosure. And I think part of the reason that I felt that way is because I've spent so much time doing that kind of thing lately. So maybe we come back to it next session. Maybe we come back to it, further down the line at some point, just to like finish off this space over here. But I believe you can see me contemplating. All right, yeah. I was like, there's a couple more spots where I have to put down any speakers, and then one thing led to another. And seeing those blue circles, I was like, you know what else I haven't done in a long time, despite reminders in the comments? Security cameras. Just doing all that stuff. You can see I'm like totally 100% procrastinating on the on the rock stuff inside. Not, but actively so. It wasn't like I'm pretending to be working on it or anything like that. It was because I was just like, you know what? I need some time to like maybe try and figure something out. We'll come back to it, and we will. We'll come back to it. We'll add a bit more flair, because I do intend to do a beauty pass in the near future. Maybe even next session. I want to get the lighting and stuff done in the area as well. Very integral to this enclosure. Is that lighting for the moon to look like the moon at night. Very excited for how that's going to actually turn out. But I believe that's pretty much it for this time lapse. I think I add a couple more trees down. I actually make this space a bit greener. I'm quite happy with how the space ends up looking. I'm going to add some reeds and stuff. But this time lapse isn't the end of the work we do over here, because after the time lapse I realized promptly that there's actually just not enough coverage. So that's it for the time lapse over here, but we will resume doing a little bit more beauty work after the time lapse. I hope you all enjoyed this one. I hope you like what you see over here. If you do or you don't, let me know down below. Leave a like, leave a comment. Leave a comment in particular if you have an opinion to share, obviously, so I can read it. But like I said, that's it for the time lapse. For now, back to regular speed. All right, folks, we are back from the time lapse, and I am continuously pleased with how this space is sort of evolving. We got an excellent suggestion, which I was mulling over as well. Maybe I even asked, I can't remember last session with all that clarity, I'll be completely honest. But I believe I was asking about I guess moving of our little Y junction that we had over here over to this side, and changing which side the stores are on, so we have a bit of a kind of back and forth going on. And there was some comments with regards to that being the right call. That way guests who are coming through either direction and either path would have easy access to various food, drink, and washrooms. And I actually like how this looks a lot better as well. Not only is this practically and pragmatically a better call, but I do think visually as well it works quite nicely. In fact, you know what? I do not. This happens every time, and I do apologize for it. But I think it's just a matter of. This is why from time to time I like to do like real-time building as opposed to just time-lapse building, because it really does, when I'm talking as well as building, it really does change my approach to putting things down. Not consciously, but just subconsciously, I start to think about different things as I talk about what I'm doing. Even though in my head, like when I'm putting stuff down, in my head I'm still thinking about what I'm doing, obviously. But there's a certain element to it. There's a certain aspect to it that only comes up when you're actually talking about what you're working on, when you're trying to explain what you're doing. Because a lot of the time when you verbalize your thoughts, you start to realize the gaps in your logic or the gaps in your execution. It was such as over here, I was going to say, it's like, visually I like how they look. And then in my head, as I hear those words coming out of my mouth, I go, Yeah, except, you know, it could be better. And so now here we are adding a couple more trees over here. Just a really quick job for now. We'll be greening the space up a fair bit more down the line. But I do just want to see how it looks if we get a little bit more, just a little bit more color in the area. Just get a bit more coverage in the area as well. Of course, this is going to be all outside the purview of any of our animals, so their opinions aren't going to be, you know, impacting our coverage or anything like that. And I have to say, these umbrella trees are some of my favorite trees. They always have been, and I think that's probably partly because of how much of a big fan of The Lion King I have been since I was a child. And, you know, that maybe I'm misremembering this, but I feel like they were quite prominent in The Lion King. And you know what? It's entirely possible that I'm misremembering this, and I'm sort of building an association between two things that have made me happy, so to speak, one way or another, like sort of aesthetically pleased me one way or another. But I do quite like the look of the umbrella tree, which is why you'll see so many of them across our Africa section, and with plenty more Africa section to work on, you can rest assured there will be plenty more umbrella trees as well. Let's get a couple of trees in here. We'll probably like do some like planters and stuff over here as well. But I don't want to do that in real time. I'll do that in the next time lapse when we do like a bit of a beauty pass. There we go. That feels a lot better. It feels a lot denser, and it feels a little less artificial, if you will. Like over here, we have our rooftop garden kind of a space, so it's a bit more, you know, obviously there's a man-made influence there, whereas over here it feels a bit more natural. There is still obviously a bit of a man-made influence with the shops themselves and their coverings and whatnot, but as far as the vegetation itself is concerned, it's a little less, it involves a little less interference. And I think when I do build the planters and stuff, I'll try and keep that in mind. I don't want to overdo it. Just do maybe some small like logs or like stones or something. We'll figure it out. But yeah, quite pleased with how this is all looking. I do apologize for the distraction there, but I do think that was quite worth it. You can see just how much more full this space looks, just how much more complete it looks. And the hyenas will be in this space over here. Trying to come up with some themes and ideas for the hyenas. If you have any suggestions, feel free to share them down below. Again, of course, I'll be doing my usual, you know, kind of looking up potential cultural connections, looking up potential you know, animal-specific elements we can touch on. I'll be doing my usual, but if you have any insights that you'd like to share, feel free to go ahead and do that, because the hyenas will be up next. I think next session we will do a bit of a beauty pass, I suppose, a mix of a beauty and a lighting pass, I think, next session. And then the session after that, we'll probably be adding in the next animals. There'll be the hyenas, and after the hyenas, I think we'll go ahead and either, I need your opinions on this one, after the hyenas, do we go ahead and work on some of the aquatic DLC animals, or do we finish off Australia with a cassowary? Personally, I'm cool either way, I think. At present, I have more of a plan, perhaps ironically considering the release schedule, but I have more of a plan for our aquatic DLC animals, particularly in this space over here, especially alongside the finally covering our exposed staff room over here. Like, that would be quite the adventure, wouldn't it? Like, just that box has been waiting for a check mark for the longest time, and I can't wait to check it off. But yeah, I think hyena, sorry, sort of a beauty pass session next session, hyena session after that, and then one of either of these two animals. I'd be curious to know your opinions about which one to do. But with that said, I think we're good to hit play and move time forward. I think I've got everything in place. We're expecting a couple of puppies. I believe, if I recall correctly, there was mention of, no, maybe I misunderstood or misread, but I do believe we will hopefully soon have some painted dog puppies. I'm gonna try and refer to them as painted dogs, just because, I don't know, just, you know, I like it. I like it. I like the idea behind it, and I figure why not. There was something else. Oh, right. There's something else I wanted to do that these notifications reminded me of, and it was this thing. I have received some suggestions with regards to alternative methods to solve this problem once and for all. I will definitely need to look into that and just kind of like do it one day, but for now, this temporary solution works well enough for me, except for the occasional time when I forget and I go, or it does this where I do uncheck it, but it decides to stay checked. But apart from that, we cool. What do we have over here? Anything in particular? No, nothing in particular. We still have crime going on, eh? I might want to hire some more security guards. This has been up here for a while still. About to have some offspring, all good. The other concern, the other major concern I have is still with the Capuchin. I just do not know what's going on, and it's really starting to bother me. Because, like, what's a guy to do, you know? What am I... You guys have low welfare. Why is your welfare so low? Are you, like, stuck somewhere? We've been trying to solve this problem for the longest time. We have quite a few females in here. What's up, actually, in terms of their... Enrichment is... Oh, you know what? It's just because it's paused. That's why. As soon as we unpause it... You're not stuck up there either. That was one of my... I was like, okay, maybe you're stuck up there. Nope, that's not the case at all. As I have no idea. I have no idea. I really hope what we've done in recent past does the trick, because I am a little concerned. Now, with regards to this unhappy face, I do think it's the result of maybe a few or one too many animal talks. What I might want to try and do, just to experiment, is I might want to try and shut off the one that's up over here. Where is it? Up over here. I'm going to shut this one off, because I feel like... I feel as though that's what's causing the trouble, is that people are being drawn to too many animal talks at the same time, or at, around the same time, or back to back to back. And as a result of that, they're not giving themselves the time to, grab a drink, grab a bite, or what have you. Though I'd expect, folks that are coming up over here, they would make a stop at the stalls and whatnot to grab a bite on the way over, but that's just not how they behave. So fair enough. I do want to touch on one thing, though. Actually, I keep forgetting. Again, as I mentioned, we are looking for names for the enclosure, names for this little path, the sort of African version of it, so to speak. We're also looking for names for a Gulpy Energy, a Cosmic Cow Ice Cream, and a Pizza Pen. We got 3 food vendors over here. Well, 2 food vendors, one drink vendor, I suppose. Need names for those guys, and I'm hoping they complement what we have up over here, because over here we do have water, right? So people who are like, this is a pretty common... Oh, actually, no profit this period. Wild. I mean, the year just started, but yeah, I was expecting... Okay, that's actually a lifetime profit of only 63. That's probably because we don't really get crowds up over here yet. Fair enough. But we've got a hot dog stand. We've got a pip shot water. We've got ourselves a dingo dessert over here. That's the Cosmic Cow ice cream. You know what? I might want to swap the Cosmic Cow ice cream on the other side. My thinking, my logic here is that it'd be good to have something cold available here, something cold available there. We'll see. We'll keep it as is for now, but we'll see if we want to swap it out eventually. Guest happiness. This is going to be one of the big things that takes a lot of my time and attention. But one thing I wanted to focus on today actually was the space. I've been talking about it for a while. I'm wanting to work on this for a while. So I do want to get some of these rapids foam effects and stuff in as well. I do believe it'll bring this space to life. And that would be quite nice. I'm just trying to figure out exactly how to do that. Like, the placement of these VFX elements sometimes really throws me off. It's like, well, what's natural looking? You don't see water rushing all the way through, from start to finish in a river. I mean, it depends on how fast the river's going, I suppose, but it's not, this isn't like busy enough for that kind of action. I mean, I could get some like rocks and stuff in here, I suppose, have it pierce the surface, and then we could add some splashes, and that might make this space a bit more kind of interesting to look at. Have a bit more going on over here as well. Like, I don't mind that as an angle, but I do just want to have. I do want this place to feel. Oh, hello. I see. I do want the space to have a bit more going for it. Just a bit more visual appeal. Speakers, facilities. If that helps at all. Sure. Get the music speaker, get the ambient speaker. I don't know if the music speaker does or doesn't do anything. I think it does. It probably does. But, switch things up a little bit over here. Come on. Get you playing By the Beach. Sure. Why not? That barely helps. Let's also go ahead and get ourselves What do I want over here? I'm trying to figure out what the best way to decorate the space is. All we need is like a little bit of decoration and we'll be fine. Go with Australia. I need Australian pieces. I could just get one of these down over here. Feels cheap. Feels rushed and just like, yeah, whatever, I'll just throw something down. I don't like doing that. I don't like doing that. Won't take us too long to get settled with something that actually looks like it belongs, maybe. Hopefully. This down as a baseline. Go. Foundational piece down over here. Who knows, that might just, you know, do enough as well. I do want to decorate these more, but it's certainly not a top priority as far as piece count and stuff is concerned as well, right? We have to be very wary of that. I want to stay very wary of that. Duplicate some of these and move some of these down a little bit so they're actually in contact with the grass, or with the ground, sorry. You as well. Maybe we can just like build some reeds to cover this thing up. That should do the trick. I believe that's helped in the past. Quite a large negative area, eh? What are we at over here? 100%. Oh, damn, this is with 100%. Okay, so nothing we do is going to make this any better. We just have to move this. Fair enough. I think we have a little bit of room back over here. Unsuitable terrain. Come on. Work with me here. As far back as we can go. There's that. Which is definitely a little bit further. So, there's that. Negative impact. Just barely at the edge. You know what I'm going to do? Here's what I'm going to do. First of all, let's move you over. I think my solution will do the trick. We'll find out together, obviously. Because again, like these objects aren't going to do anything. We've already reduced the negative impact radius as much as possible. But where is my path over here? I want my staff path, please and thank you. This way. No, staff path, thank you. Why did this not move? I must have canceled by mistake. All good, not the end of the world. Nothing ever really is. There you go. Alright, so what I want to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and put a bin down over here. I think I must have mentioned this during the time lapse as well. But if not, I'll point out where I did it with the Africa section as well. Let's go ahead and get this bin. Let's go ahead and put you down. Right over here. So, over in the Africa section. Oh, wow. Forgot how close we were to it. Over here, I have put down a donation bin and a trash can over here as well. The idea being that guests will, you know, they throw things into these bins from a distance, so they wouldn't ever want to go into these negative, you know, spaces, negative impact spaces, and instead from a distance they'll be throwing their stuff, their money or what have you. Now this is unfortunate. I kind of had a feeling this might happen. I was hoping it wouldn't, but I'm not surprised that it is. We've reduced the radius as much as possible. I can try and nudge it back a little bit further, I suppose. Try to do that, but I don't know how much of a difference that would actually make. Move. Grid size reduced. Do this kind of a thing. Because again, like if I pull it away from one side, it just has negative impact on the other side. You know what? I think that's probably going to be worse than the occasional guest over here. I don't know. This is why I've been asked, like, oh, how come you don't use wind turbines? This is why. It's just because, like, when you have solar panels, I'd rather put down multiple solar panels to get the same kind of coverage rather than put down, you know, one wind turbine. And sure, it gives me more coverage, but it also upsets the guests, right? I could have a solar panel here and a solar panel here, and it would cover everything. Right now, I've got a solar panel here. I'm upsetting the guests in the area, and I also have a blind spot. So it's like, does it really, like, what's really the ideal, which one's preferable, right? That's my line of thinking, at least. Now, we will have some mature jaguars that will need trading out before they start causing me trouble. So cute. We haven't spent time with them in so long. I definitely want to do a management session sometime real soon, just in order to spend some time with these animals and just, you know, watch them and hang out with them and see them in action. It's been some time. It's been some time. Y'all let me know what you think about that. I always obviously want to make sure that Ooh, oh no. Are you infertile? I'm just old. Fair enough. I always, of course, want to make sure, you know, I know what people would like to watch before I go a certain way. I'm aware the Jaguars are overcrowded. That's what I'm working on right now. All three of you. Go ahead and move to the trade center. We're going to go ahead and try and trade them, I think, today. Like, right away. Why not? Animal trading. In fact, let's take a look at our trade history. Have we made any successful trades lately? Just these two, eh? Oh, hey. Yeah, these are the two that didn't get traded last time. Right? The trade expired. I guess the pricing was off, or, you know, timing. There's so many variables. But hey, they've been traded out. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and take a look at the animal market really quickly. Take a look at the Jaguars situation. Oh. I need a female giant anteater as well, don't I? Let's check that real quick. Again, there's so many moving parts. So many moving parts. You're an adult now. So we're going to send you to the trade center as well. Alright. Giant anteaters. Up over here. We have two males. Francisco. Go ahead and send you to the trade center. To the trade center, I said. Thank you. Now let's go ahead and get ourselves a female giant anteater. Where'd you go? Here you are. Yeah, good stuff. I saw it before I clicked away earlier, and I was like, oh, wait a second. Completely slipped my mind. Go ahead and adopt you. I wish it was a... Well... just wish it was easier to move things into quarantine and stuff. Little things. There you go. It's not that difficult. Just there could have been a button down there as well, I guess. Because I guess it's almost always what you want to do, isn't it? We talked about this a couple sessions ago, where it's just like, well, you know, is there any reason, if they're coming from a different zoo, is there any reason to put them through quarantine? And, you know, as I was saying those words, I was like, well, actually, you never know, you know, which zoo you're from, which part of the world you're from determines what your immunities might be and stuff like that, what you might be carrying. So yes, it is always a good idea to go to the quarantine first to make sure you're, you know, all clear. Looks like 2,000, 1,000. Probably do 1,500 to 2,000. Sure, let's do that. 1,500 to 2,000. Oh, they're all, man. They're all melanistic. Alright. You know what? Whoa. Didn't register my second zero there. There's no point in pricing them high if no one's gonna buy them. So let's go ahead with 1,500. Keeping you. Trade you as well. 1,500. I think these are fair prices. Like, look at these stats. Look at these stats. These stats are ridiculous. Look at these stats. They're absolutely ridiculous. But I've been having so much trouble getting these trades to go through lately. Again, like I think I touched on this last session as well. I think what we're going to do is eventually either do a trade session, like, you know, where I tweet it out and we have like a time where all the trading is happening, or we do what we did that one time, which is a live streamed trade session. Just because, I mean, how many times will I let trades expire, right? And like things are starting to get full up again. I could always just like release to the wild, but I would like to at least trade some of them to help fund our future, you know, African enclosures and whatnot. Where is the saltwater crocodile? There you are. I want to see how much these guys are going for, and then I could maybe match, I don't know, 1,000. Seems reasonable. 1,000 to 1,500, sure. Come on now. Sure. Go ahead and go with 1,500. Just like pricing everything at 1,500 over here. 100 for you as well. Quarantine passed. Excellent. How about you, buddy? Come on. A lot of male crocs. Done. Another Batara. Let's go ahead and trade you. Let's go with 1,000 for you. Why not? Stats are, they feel a little bit lower. Why not? Trade you for 1,500. And our silver for maybe 1,000. Sure. Let's try it. Well, let's try it. What's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? Anybody picked up yet? Nobody yet. All good. Fabiana, though. Let's go ahead and get you into the enclosure. All the way back over here to Pachamama's garden. There you are. What was I in the middle of doing before I got distracted by the giant anteater? I know I was in the middle of something. But then got distracted. Well, it's nighttime now, so I'm going to let myself get distracted once more. Because I thought, wouldn't it be nice to actually come back in over here and see if we can't get this to look right. I've been wanting to, like, I almost this time lapse flipped to nighttime to try and experiment with this, but then I was like, well, you know what, I'll just do a beauty pass and a lighting pass next time. Oh yeah, the lighting does come through, and that's without you all the way bright. Okay, yeah, now we're talking. Okay, all right, okay. You know what? This might work a lot nicer than I anticipated initially. There's a couple ways to do this though. We could use this light. We could use the stadium light as well. This gives that volumetric lighting. It gives a bit of a glow to it. You know what I'm talking about? What we could try and do is we could try and get this. Let's see. Quite like how that looks, but one isn't gonna cut it. Can I like go in there? Wow, the sun's already rising, eh? You see, that's the problem with having these guys stacked, is like, you can see the overlap and whatnot, so that doesn't really work either. That's too bad. That's too bad. If I could get their radius to be wider, and not have to worry about, it being a little, like, hole, basically, of light, then I would have stuck with that, but that's not gonna fly. Not gonna fly. Let's see, what could we do here? We could do something like that, where it's a bit more, like, not a perfect circle. You know what? I think we'll have to save it for a proper lighting pass, where we pause in the dead of night, and we spend some time to do it properly. Oh, man, but I am really excited for it, though. It is looking how I want it to look. Oh, okay, sorry. I'm very clearly distracted by this right now because I really do want to see how it might look. Over to here, over to here. Come on, tuck you in there. I gotta rotate this so I can actually feel like we're onto something over here. Feel like we're onto something, but oh man, it's gonna look great. All right, we'll do it during a proper pass though. My apologies for the distraction there. I thought we could get it done before the sun rose, but I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. All right, back to work over here. So I've got these rocks down. Hoping to get some foam or splashing or something going on over here. Splash. Rapid splash. There we go. Yeah, something like that, I guess. Just to make it look like the water is moving. It just feels a little too, maybe aggressive, I guess is the word. Like, the water does not look like it's moving this fast, you know? And yet it's causing this, like, massive splashing action. I guess it wouldn't be on this side, it would be on this side, because this is where the water is actually flowing in from. Like, coming through. Yeah, I don't know. Not the biggest fan. Pop you down. I also don't like the fact that you can actually see the little, like, dot through it all. I mean, from a distance, of course you can't, but I know it's there. A lot of upset animals for a second there. I'm not sure if that was Titan Town or something else, but we'll keep an eye out for it. Yeah, see, I don't like how that looks. In fact, I'll go so far as to say that looks pretty ugly. I want to go ahead and get rid of the effects. I kind of like the rock alone. That was quite good. But the VFX, I'm not a big fan of. Something like that, and then we can get some more like reeds in the area and stuff as well. I'm not gonna do that. That'll be a beauty pass. The only reason I was doing the VFX was, again, because those only work in real time. So you can do this kind of a thing though. Yeah, there you go. Just bring some more life to the space. Bring some more, like, brings a bit of a dynamic shape to the space and stuff like that. So happy enough with that. Sure, for now. Yeah, okay, that's fine for now. Gonna disengage, otherwise I'm gonna get stuck in the weeds there. I'm gonna get stuck in the reeds there, if you could say. Alright, apart from that, you know, guests are still unhappy. I need to figure this out. I need to figure this out, because, again, it's not like we're having any trouble financially or anything like that, but I would rather guests not be unhappy to begin with. What's the deal over here? A lot over here. Facility's having a negative effect. Where? Out over here? Oh, these guys still really want to come over here to look at the animals from that side, eh? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Why? Why would you do this to me? Alright, here, listen. You're gonna be that way? You're gonna be that way. Fine. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna put this over here. It should be hovering. Go. Should be hovering, I think. We'll get some, like, stilts on it or something. Come on. Come on. I saw you connect. I saw you connect. Don't lie to me. There we go. He's trying to lie to me. Alright. Go nudge you in. I'm gonna have to assign this to a mechanic, aren't I? Pretty sure this has got a work zone already. Move this aside. I mean, if I saw this sparking next to the water, I would probably have a pretty negative effect on me as well, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't think that's what the guests are complaining about. I know, I'm joking, they're obviously not complaining about the water treatment plant. And people like to complain about anything. Like, yeah, you know what? We've got water in the zoo. You know what? Yeah, it's gotta be kept clean. You know what? Yeah, it's noisy. Deal with it. Deal with it. You got all this wonderful stuff to look at, and all you can think about is that one humming noise that you heard? Come on. People complain about anything. Alright, now these spaces, again, not too crowded. You know what? So I'm going to go ahead and reactivate this, because this was clearly not part of the problem. Well, it's my assumption, I guess. Doesn't seem like that was part of the problem. We've cleaned this up, so that's not going to be a problem. This is upsetting some people. We'll keep an eye out on that and see how bad it is, I guess. But yeah, guest. What are we looking at over here? Like, there's quite a few upset people, actually. Quite a few folks waiting in line. Education is very low. So busy. Okay, places are a little too busy over here. I guess we could add some more stalls. That was the plan previously. You know, this is actually quite a busy space now. I wouldn't be surprised if that's part of the reason why a lot of people are complaining. Happiness. Just your happiness is low. What does that mean? That means nothing to me. Spend a lot of time walking. Well, then take one of the rides. I got so many of them. How long till we go home? My tummy is rumbling. You're hungry, but you don't want to wait for food. Great. That's logic. Alright. Let's go ahead and add a couple more stalls over here, I think. We'll need guest happiness percentage. What? Why? I'm guessing when people queue up but don't get food, yeah, it impacts the happiness of the space. Okay, fair enough. Let's go ahead and get ourselves. What do we have? We have a Chief Beef. We have a Street Fox Coffee. We've got a Pip Shot Water, and we've got an info stall, if you will. Let's go ahead and move some of this stuff over. Make some room over here. I don't think adding just one stall will do the trick, but for now. There's these guys over here as well. Go. Get rid of you, thank you. Get rid of you as well. Wonderful. Push you back. Maybe we get some like pizzas or something over here. Sure, why not? Pizzas are circular. You know, concentric circles has been a running theme in the space. So why don't we get some pizzas with the pizza pen? And hook you up like this. There we go. Seems right. Trying to figure out if it's like lined up properly. If I need to go closer. I think I need to go closer. There we go. That looks better. Cool, perfect. Will hopefully help alleviate the stress over here a little bit, because you can see it is quite a big lineup. It is quite a big lineup. You guys all selected. You selected back over here. I'm gonna go ahead and group this up so I can move it more easily. I quite like the aesthetic of the space and everything. Quite pleased with it. I understand the guests are unhappy. Not that the aesthetic and the actual feeding has anything to do with each other, but you know, you have stuff to see. Doesn't that help you fill time in line? I think we're good. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Cool. And I believe it's also kind of like hooked up as it's supposed to. Yeah, because like otherwise there'd be a gap over here, right? So that's pretty good. All right, cool. Hopefully that helps, you know, make people happy in this area. We'll keep an eye out for it. Obviously, putting one building down, putting one new food stall down isn't going to do the trick. But it might start. Wish I could have stayed longer. It was very spacious. That's just another way of saying it. Everything's too big over here. These guys are thirsty, hungry. They need to use the washroom. They're tired. Like everything that could go wrong is going wrong for these guys. Why? What went wrong? What went wrong? Why didn't you stop at any one of the numerous food courts or anything, right? A lot of unhappy people leaving right now. A lot of unhappy people over here as well. Yeah, I don't think the animal... I would hate to suggest that it's the animal talks, but... Have you not seen any of the animals you wanted to see? Did you just, like, not go to the right spots? Like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do for you? And you only stayed here for 22 minutes. And you're on your way out. What's that about? They're also not even, like... Why are you unhappy? Because I don't know. Are other people experiencing this as well? Is it just me? Is this a new bug? Because, like I said, the animals escaping through glass barriers is apparently a new bug, which many of you have reported as well. Excellent. Overlapping speakers. Well, you're not actually overlapping, though. Ending. Reduce your size. Reduce your size. There you go. Get to see guests in the area, though. At least there's that. Oh my god, look at this. What are you complaining about? The zoo is okay. Oh, yeah, everything's taken care of. Education's a little bit on the low side, but everything else is taken care of. But nope, just complaining. Your time here was okay. Get out of here. Time here was okay. Fantastic space. You should be loving it. Again, same nonsense as before. I just wish it was clearer. I wish I knew what I needed to do to solve the problem, you know? This is like... I feel like my hands are tied otherwise. What am I doing? Dingoes are almost done being researched. The African wild dogs, though. Have we got somebody researching them? I believe we do not. Let's get Ashley on them. Well, you know what? Ashley's been researching for a while. Let's go ahead and get Lucy... If I can find them, there we go. Lucy Meg on the African wild dog. Done. Oh! It's happening! It's happening! I must have missed the mating, but offspring due May of this year. Oh my god, offspring! Oh my god, I'm genuinely so happy. I am genuinely just like, I know these are just pixels. I know they're not real, but we've taken care of these animals for so long. We've nurtured them. We've tried to solve their breeding problem for so long. I genuinely feel so happy. Our warthogs are having a bit of a fight over here, so let's go ahead and solve this problem. Keep the happiness going. You have all become adults. Go ahead and release all of them. Yep, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. Release animals with the wild. Done. I will do a little bit of a clean up over here when we do that management session I was telling you about. Not what I meant. Don't want to see all these. Oh my god. Got our baby African wild dogs as well. Oh man. Babies. Babies all around. Hey buddy. I really want to catch them playing. But I also want to see our capuchin baby. There's so much happening right now. A lot of good stuff going on. Alright, hold on though. Giant tortoises here, not having a good time. Go ahead and... quite a few of them became adults at the same time. You, and you. Over to the trade center. We're gonna have to have a trade session. Like a proper one where we actually trade things out. Good stuff. Where is... Raph? The zebras are fighting for alpha status. Oh dear lord, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on here. some of these males out of here. Just release them to the wild, probably. But where is... A lot of Titan beetles have died. I hope it's not all of them. Hold on. Where's Camp Capuchin? Where's Kusiwasi? Here we go. Where's my baby? May has passed. As we know, the game isn't necessarily, you know, tied to its timings. There we go. Jorge over here. You little cutie. You're a special one, you know that? It's been a long time we've waited for your arrival. Stats, not the best, but the fact that you exist is good enough. Wow. It finally happened. That has been a long time coming. That has been a long time coming. I'm so glad it's finally happened. I was starting to get really worried that the save was broken or something like that, and just we'd never have new Capuchin babies, but there you go. Oh, you know what I haven't checked? So cute. Look at that run animation. Just so adorable. Okay, let me click on you though. Come on. No? Yeah, there we go. I was gonna say we haven't checked their escape capabilities. Alright, wonderful. They're actually sealed in. Yes, I'm surprised. Oh, did you see that? I was so glad I caught that. Oh boy. Go. Like squeaking. They're not even like barking or yipping. I would describe it as squeaking. Come on, give me that. There we go. Oh, look at these stats too. Oh my lord. Okay, are you kidding me right now? That was adorable. That jump was cute. Go for it, buddy. Yes, yes. Come on. Come on, come on, another one. Go, 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 go. I believe in you. Oh, this makes me way too happy. Again? Oh, you actually managed. I don't know how, but alright. Fair enough, fair enough. Must have shaken the ground hard enough or something. Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. What are you up to over here? Kind of chilling. I love that my camera was placed over here, and it's like they knew. It's like you knew that the camera was pointed there, and you were like, you know what? No, you're not gonna catch me on camera. You are also really good for trading. Where'd you go? So good. Animal welfare is attractive protest. Ooh, what? These guys are fine. These guys are fine. Honestly, it takes like seconds for protesters to arrive. Keeping you around, and we're keeping you around. There we go. Everybody else over to the trade center. Done. See, everyone's okay. Don't have to worry about it. Everything's fine. I'm surprised I didn't get a warning sooner, though, I'll be honest. Okay. Must have just missed it. Okay. That's all there. Night has fallen once more. Tempting as it is to go ahead and do the moon, I don't think I will. We'll save it for a time lapse. Facility still having negative effects, significant negative effects. Glad we caught that. More vet research complete. A little bit more on the dingoes left. Actually, are the dingoes... Just to check. Do we have all of their fun facts? No, one last one left. I want to go through all the fun facts after we've... That was adorable. I want to go through the fun facts after we've done all of them. Like, I don't want to do them, you know, partially and then have to come back to them. I want to do them all at once. Man, I could just spend an entire episode just following these dogs around. Just watching them play. No? Not gonna engage? Fair enough. Nothing? Alright, I just thought we maybe would catch them playing again or something. Fair enough. Fair enough. Folks. Pretty pleased with this session. I think that's what we're going to call it. We have a baby Capuchin. We've got some new puppers. We've made some good progress in this area as a whole. Next session, we need to do a lighting pass, so hopefully saving it at nighttime means we'll be booting in to nighttime next time, and we'll dive right into a time lapse right off the bat and get that lighting pass / beauty pass done. Get some more lighting over here, not just over here, but also elsewhere as well. I mean, it's a pretty dark zoo still. There are some areas that are lit up nicely, which is great, but there's some spots that are still very dark. So I think it'd be nice to come back and take care of some of that stuff. I'm pretty pleased with today's session. I'm pretty pleased with how our space is looking up over here. Not just the enclosures, but the areas around the enclosures as well. Like I said, with a bit more barren spaces, we have to make sure the areas around the enclosures are doing some of the heavy lifting as well. And I feel like that's come together pretty nicely. Again, I'd love to hear your thoughts on naming suggestions for those stores, for the enclosure, for the path. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what animal you think should come next after the hyena. Again, we're doing this lighting / beauty pass next time, then come the hyenas, and then we got to choose between a couple of animals. And again, it's not like a vote in the sense that what you say goes. I'm just trying to get like a temperature check to see what y'all are interested in, and ultimately based on the ideas in my head and what I feel more confident about in terms of an idea that I can actually build, that's what we'll go forward with. Of course, I'm still doing some research with the cassowaries, but again, and as always, if you have ideas for the hyenas, the cassowaries, or what have you, feel free to share. Feel free to give me some word association games to play, so to speak, and I will happily go digging in those advised directions. Folks, hope you had a good time. If you did, you know what to do. Let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. As always, it makes a massive difference in how I approach content on the channel, what I do more or less of, how I go about doing it. Y'all know the drill by now. As always, as well, a massive thanks goes out to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big old thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.